All hits all the time. Star 98.3, 731. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show as we continue on with our Meet the Candidates section, which is a great opportunity for everybody in Southern Maryland to really meet these folks who are running for different offices. And like I always say, you see the signs out there and you hear the commercials, but this is a kind of a one-on-one sit down and a little chat.
Yeah, and in studio with us this morning is Dan Slade, and he is running for delegate from the state of Maryland for District 29A, which Johnny Wood holds right now, but he's retiring this year. So welcome to the studio, Dan. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, T. It's good to be here, and I appreciate you having me.
Now, I always ask this because I just think, are you a glutton for punishment? Are you, why would you decide to run for political office? Because not only are you an attorney, which already has joke books galore, but politicians...
I have them in my office. I have all the joke books in my office.
Of course.
In the bathroom.
I'm sure you do. But also, now politician. Why did you decide to run for Johnny Wood's seat?
Well, when I heard Johnny was retiring, I love St. Mary's County. I was born and raised and educated here. I've started my family here after school, and I want the best for St. Mary's County. I got 3 kids.
How old are they?
I'm not supposed to say their names, but I'm going to. Maddie, you said don't embarrass you on the, the radio.
How old's Maddie?
Maddie is 9, and she's in the 4th grade at Leonardtown Elementary.
Oh, all right. Awesome.
My daughter Joy is 6. She's in kindergarten at Leonardtown.
Oh, wow.
And my son Tiger is 4. He's in a little Montessori program.
Right.
And he'll be going to Leonardtown next year in kindergarten.
Excellent.
So,
excellent.
Okay, so you've grown up in the area, you're familiar with the area, and you've decided, okay, I'm going to get into politics. My primary question is why? What do you want to do that's not being done now?
Well, what's being done now is I believe we're going down the wrong path as a state. I think we're being taxed too much. We have too many regulations.
Yep.
And it's making the average citizen's life more difficult. You know, the primary focus of the state in Annapolis should be transportation, education, helping with the economy to boost it along.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe we're deviating. We've gone too far to the left. I'm a Democrat. I'm a St. Mary's County Democrat.
I am too. And then when I say things like that, people are like, well, you're coming to my side. Well, not necessarily, but I think that we have more in common in the state of Maryland.
Well, I think there's more moderates than people on the left and people on the right. It's when they redistrict and gerrymander is when we get these districts where you get people that are too far to the left and too far to the right. You know, and we need to refocus, and we got to start working together. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian. If you're up in Annapolis, your focus should be on what's in the best interest of our people.
And what is in the best interest of your district, St. Mary's County? Charles is out now, right?
Right. It's just
Charles
Northern St. Mary's.
Northern St. Mary's. So what do you think is in the best interest of Northern St. Mary's and in Southern Maryland? Because there is a Southern Maryland delegation. Everybody. What do you think?
Well, I've knocked on over 2,000 doors in the district.
Wow.
I know it's not as many as some, but it's a lot when you're self-employed. And I'm hearing it's the most important issues are, look, Dan, we're getting overly taxed. We're getting overly regulated. Our streets weren't designed for the traffic we have on them.
You got that right.
And it's dangerous for us to go out of our driveways.
You know, I remember when they upgraded 235 down by the base in California, Lexington Park, and T and I were driving down there, and, we were complaining about the traffic, but we said this is going to be so much better when it's all said and done. It's outdated. They did that how many years ago? It wasn't that many years ago.
Well, what they have to do is they have a good plan in place in the south end. They're going to hopefully replace the bridge, 1.
Yeah, right.
From your mouth to God's ear. Let's hope.
Right. But 2, they got to finish up FDR Boulevard. And that will take traffic off 235.
Right.
I've done a lot of legal work on that and a lot of title issues on that, and we need to...
So what's the holdup then, Dan? What's the holdup with FDR?
Well, we have the funding in place. It's just getting it done, and there's other legal issues that we have to jump through.
Is it because people are in the other properties are in the way? You have to buy up other private property?
They're buying up easements and they're buying up land, and they'll do it, and they're moving forward. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That project's going to be completed. And it's a very important project.
How long do you think it'll take to complete FDR? I hate to put you on the spot, and you don't have to answer that because it's not a fair question.
I can't give you the answer, Heather. I don't want to mislead you.
Well, listen,
but we need to focus and work on that very hard.
Right.
I actually like that when a politician says I can't give you the answer rather than just straight up lying.
2 years, 2 years, I guarantee.
Okay, so let me ask you something, Dan, and this is a little bit vague, but play along. So a lot of
Good
folks.
luck, Dan. Welcome to the show.
A lot of folks have come in here running for office.
Correct.
And consistently they've talked about the exact same things that you've talked about. Oh, we got all these crazy taxes.
Regulations.
We're choking business. Okay, so everybody's beating the same drum, but Annapolis is doing the opposite. So where's the disconnect, and how do you even begin to overcome that? When let's say you do win and you go up there, I think you're going to run into a juggernaut.
Well, it's an urban-dominated legislature. There's no ifs,
no
ands, or
doubt.
buts. If people think they're going to go up there and flip a switch and it's changed, they're just mistaken. I hate to say it that way, but I'm a realist.
I think you're right.
And what we need to do is we need to go up there and talk to them and say, look, we have a tremendous opportunity in Southern Maryland, especially in St. Mary's County. We have the number 2 economic driver in the state.
Right.
And if you guys give us a chance, and obviously we'll work with other jurisdictions and we'll work with other legislatures from other areas, because we can get them on our board. If we help them do local issues, they'll come on board and help us. We got to work together.
And I so agree with you. I so agree with you. But then there's that thing that sticks in my side, and it's that windmill project and the veto of the governor when the entire General Assembly voted to wait, let's do the MIT thing, and he vetoed it. How do you work with a governor that doesn't listen to you?
Well, he's not going to be there.
He's not, but
and to be honest, that was a terrible mistake on his part. He put his self-interest above the state's interest, and that was just wrong.
It was wrong.
And when you take public office, excuse me, you have to put the people's interests first. And he put his self-motivated self-interest first, and that was just a terrible mistake.
He's not going to be there, but his lieutenant governor is leading.
Right.
And, historically, Maryland votes Democrat. So you could say, if you're going to extrapolate, well, maybe this is going to be the next governor who is simply going to follow in the shoes of the previous governor.
Now, Dan, you were born and raised here.
Correct.
Do you get a sense, and T and I have only been here for about 20 years, so we still ain't from around here, but still here. I get a sense that Southern Maryland in Annapolis, and I know politicians hate this, but since you're not a politician yet and you were born and raised, do you get a sense in Annapolis that we are the redheaded stepchild? I mean, I've got my red hair here. It's a little personal. But they don't pay, Annapolis doesn't pay attention. Our delegates go up, they talk, they schmooze, they try to get stuff done, and they get a purple line up in wherever, a purple line here, and they're getting the ICC, and we have a bridge that's deteriorating. How do you explain that?
Well, again, it's an urban-dominated legislature. We have good delegates now that are up there working hard, and they're having a difficult time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but it's going to take a fresh perspective. We just need to go up there and say, look, we are the number 2 economic engine in the state of Maryland. $7.5 billion flows through that base.
We don't get our props.
We don't get our props.
And we pay this gas tax now, okay? We pay a ton in the gas tax. They're not doing that because they have the purple lines.
Correct.
Because of our gas tax going into the I just
what we
want
need
more
to do
equity is what I want.
And I agree with you 110%, Heather. What we need to do is we need to bring them down here and show them, hey, look.
And then tie them up. And then
but by force. Right. I'm with you.
Well, we'll attorney-client this conversation.
That's
here
right.
Shortly, so.
We're talking with Dan Slade. He is running for House of Delegates for seat 29A. And I do think, I think you're spot on correct. And I think you're on the right track on this. I think we're overlooked as a region. I hear this time and time again from people who have access to Annapolis. They go, you're not paying enough taxes. That you want a new bridge, pay more taxes. Well,
right.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking around. I'm on the other side of it. And I'm looking around. I'm seeing businesses closing. I'm seeing more of my tax dollars going, or my paycheck going to taxes. Every time we go out and do a live broadcast, I hear hordes of people come up to me and go, 5 more years and I'm out of here.
I'm going to West Virginia.
I hear the same thing, T,
Yeah.
when I bang on doors, and we got to fix that. And it's the only way we can fix it is to roll up our sleeves and work hard and get it done.
Yeah,
There's
because
no
I
ifs,
don't
ands,
think
or
these are
buts.
people who necessarily. How could you hate Southern Maryland? It's a beautiful place to live.
Of course.
But they're getting out of here because of the sheer abuse from Annapolis.
And we got to change that. Again, I've never voted for a tax. I'm not going to. We're overly taxed. We need to reduce the tax. We need to reduce spending. How to reduce the taxes? We need to reduce spending.
I want to ask you where would you reduce spending? Education?
No. Again,
I always say that. I know.
I have 3 kids.
I know.
The state has to prioritize. What is
you got to go Sophie's Choice on those kids. Not all of them get educated.
Sorry, Maddie.
Sorry, Tiger. You're on your own.
No, but we got to set priorities in the state. We can't fix everything. The state is not the parents. The parents are the parents of the child. The parents are responsible for ensuring the kids get a best education. That is getting rid of the people who aren't doing their job.
Priority for you. Priority. You say you got to prioritize. What's a priority? Give me 2. 2 priorities.
Education, transportation, cutting taxes.
All right, I want to talk about
diversifying our economy.
I want to talk about transportation because this is a real point of contention with me. There's 2 sides of this. There's the infrastructure that we have down here that is abysmal. We don't. It's it's not doing the job. Everybody knows that. Why even argue that point? Okay, but then you have the transportation fund in Annapolis. Right. Everybody's robbing that, and I want to see that be a lockbox.
And if everyone's smart in Southern Maryland and St. Mary's County, they're going to vote for the constitutional provision that says it is a lockbox. And I will tell you now, and I'll say it till the day I die, I will never tap the Transportation Trust Fund for anything but transportation, because that's what it was designed for. They say, oh, we paid it back. We don't pay all the interest back. And that's where we're getting killed. And people don't realize that. Well, they say they're going to pay it back. Well, then something else pops up.
Right.
Again, we need to prioritize what's important as a state. What should state government do?
Now, education, because I hear people say education is such a priority. Can we get better than number 1? And this is just coming from me, and this is just how my brain works, Dan. We're number 1.
The state of Maryland's number 1.
After 50.
St. Mary's County is not, and we got to just get better.
Oh, come on. What are we in St. Mary's County?
I think we're 7 or 9.
Out of 24?
Really? Okay.
But see, I'm okay with that. Well, I am. I'm okay with that. I don't have to be number 1 in everything. In 50 states, we're number 1. At least we're not 49. I'd be okay with being
I'll just
10
say this.
if we could save money.
And I'm a little biased, and I know you guys too, because you're parents. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But our children are our greatest resource, period.
Yeah,
you haven't met mine.
Oh, I got a 4-year-old. I'll challenge you. Are you kidding me? I got a 6-year-old girl who might be able to out-wrestle your son.
Probably.
She's tough as nails. But no, what we have to do is we have to understand our greatest responsibility as human beings is taking care of our kids.
Because they're ultimately going to be taking care of us.
And we have a great educational system. It can get better, period. And we got to strive to be the best.
How can it be better? Because
right
we got
now,
a graduation rate in St. Mary's County. What is it, 90, 91%?
It's great. I mean, but we always can get better. Now, we have an issue in St. Mary's County, our teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
We have great teachers in St. Mary's County, and they feel like, and rightfully so, they're not getting their due.
Well, what's going to happen, and I think you're spot on correct, what's going to happen is eventually, now this pension has been shifted back to the counties. I'm telling you, dollars to donuts, down the I don't know
that's
where.
That's going to hurt us tremendously. It's going to hurt the teachers.
You bet it's going to hurt the teachers. Because there's going to be a time when teachers start retiring, and guess what? Their pension isn't going to be what they think it is.
Right, I agree with you, and we got to take care of our teachers. Again, we are blessed to have the base, and it's also a double-edged sword, because if I'm a young person, I want to be a teacher, and I'll be a great teacher, I got to sit there and think, I got out of law school, I had over $100,000 in student loans. Mm-hmm. And I'm still paying student loans.
Yeah.
And that teacher's got to sit there and think, my God, my starting salary, my salary in 5 years will be what? Or I can go on the base and double my salary. Now, it won't be what I love to do, educating children and making them a better person. But I also got to sit there and think of what's financially best for me.
Right.
So we really need to focus in on our teachers and ensure that we keep our quality teachers, and we don't hinder any wonderful people that are going to be educators from coming to the system.
Southern Maryland teachers have a wonderful median pay. I mean, it's like $74,000 in Calvert County. I think it's a little bit less here in St. Mary's. Well, you roll your eyes, but I
don't know
seriously,
if it's that high. Right.
It is that high. It is, and that's from the Maryland State Department of Education. Calvert County median, now there are some higher, obviously some lower, it's at like 74. That's from the state, and I think St. Mary's is a little bit less. How much more do teachers need?
Well, you're looking at the median, you're looking at the teachers that make the extreme amount that boost the lower salaries up. Again, teachers just want some respect. They want some courtesy, and they do a wonderful job.
They do.
Educating our kids. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, my 9-year-old's teaching me some math I've never even thought of I'd ever learn and never wanted to be honest with you.
No, with the core, yeah.
Yeah, but the teachers are phenomenal. My kids get up, and they want to go to school, and that's because they love their teacher, and they love being taught by their teachers. We need to focus in on working hard at the state level to how to get more equitable funding to St. Mary's so we can pay our teachers, we can get better schools. You know, we got to work with the governor and the Board of Public Works. We need another high school. And we got to focus in on making sure the north end of St. Mary's County has a new high school.
And I think there's going to be one right across the street here, right?
That's what the rumor is.
Well, that's the rumor, but I don't know if that is going to go through. To be honest with you, I think that was nipped in the bud. My understanding inside, it's probably not going to go through.
Really?
Well, listen, his name is Dan Slade. He's running for the House of Delegates in seat 29A, which is currently held by Johnny Woods, but he's going to be retiring. Johnny is, and so that seat is going to be available. Dan would like to fill it, and if you like what you hear, you should get out and vote for you. I got a few minutes left here. Is there anything you want the people to know about you as a candidate, you as a person?
Well, again, I was born here, raised here, educated here. After going to grad school and law school, I moved back home. I had an opportunity to stay in Baltimore and make a heck of a lot of money at a firm.
Betcha, hon, yeah.
And I worked at a firm for a year, and I never met a client. I never helped. I didn't feel like I helped a single human being.
Right.
So I decided to move back home.
Good.
And this is where I came because I wanted to live here. I love the lifestyle here. I wanted to, raise my family here and let them enjoy our lifestyle. Let's be honest. You love it here. You've been here 20 plus years.
I say it to anybody who will listen. This is a wonderful place to live. The natural resources,
Absolutely.
the availability to the bay, all the things that we have. You can drive up the road and see D.C. It's fun.
Right, but in order for us to not only live and work here, but we also want to retire here, we got to lower taxes, folks. Because every house I've knocked on, people say, look, I'm retired, I'm on a fixed income. I just can't afford it anymore. I had a gentleman in Mechanicsville whose wife passed away. He got remarried to his high school sweetheart.
Right.
She was elderly. He's elderly. They're in their 70s. She's in a wheelchair. Now, the man and his nephews build this ramp up so they can get into the house.
What happened?
The state comes out and assesses it as living space and raises property taxes.
Shut your mouth.
It's just people losing focus of common sense and doing the right thing.
Oh, my God.
And
That's nuts.
we need to refocus what's important in the state of Maryland. Again, the state can't economically afford to do everything they're doing now. We need to determine as a state what is important. And we need to lower taxes. And we need to, not only do I want to retire here, I want my kids to be able to stay here, get a great job, and retire here.
Right.
So we're not worried about having to worry about what the federal government's going to do with the Pentagon or what are they going to cut back. Right. If we can diversify our economy and get it growing, our kids can get great careers here.
I think you're spot on correct.
People who are going to lose their job in the north can drive south and stay here and have a great career.
I love that idea.
My uncle, same kind of deal. When you're talking about bureaucracy and zoning, all that kind of craziness. He built a house, and he had a deck on his house. Okay, well, that was all in the permits. Everything was fine. So the adjuster came out, and at some point in the thing, the rails you have on a deck.
Right.
Okay. My aunt didn't like them. And she said, well, my uncle's like, well, you got to have them. She says, well, then dress them up a little bit or do something. I hate them. So he cut these little boxes, these little one-by-one boxes. He had some scrap lumber, and he made these little boxes and he put them on the rails. Well, that made it custom rails, and so the guy came out classic my uncle. So the guy comes out and he goes, well, you've got we're gonna have to change these rails.
Tell me he took a hammer.
He took a chainsaw and cut them all off. That's what he did.
Right.
That's how you do that.
Right.
But it's just nuts. It seems like that happens all the time, where there's just this industry of let's go out and harass.
Right. Well, again, I advocate for people on a daily basis. That's my profession. I also deal with government agencies for people, and it is not an easy situation.
Right.
And there are days when I leave the office, I got to go take a little drive before I go home and see the wife and kids because you get so frustrated.
I bet.
And God bless them. Government employees are wonderful, but they got a lot of pressure on them.
Yep.
And when in doubt, the easiest answer is just to say no.
Yeah. Well, listen, Dan, I appreciate you coming in today. Good luck to you in the race.
I appreciate it. Thank you, T. Thank you, Heather.
He is running for
Nice
House.
meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you, too.
Pleasure's
We met your wife. Your wife is lovely. We met her at the Wine Fest.
Yeah, I'm a very fortunate guy. I have a face for radio, so I'm very fortunate to be married to who I'm married to.
You're fine.
He's running for House of Delegates, seat number 29A. Remember his name. It is Dan Slade. So there you go, sir. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
9 minutes in front of 8 o'clock. Let's check the roads.